All right, what's up, everyone? Biotubers and Lego fans alike. I am here, joined by Sokoda, who just recently had their idea, the Legend of the Bionicle, realized by the new Bricklink designer program. First off, I just want to say it's great to have you on here, Sokoda. Thanks for coming on. I think it's awesome that your project is allowing Bionicle fans to have another chance at getting a set for
thanks so much
Bionicle's
for
20th
having me.
anniversary. I think it's pretty incredible what's happening. Obviously, was a little unexpected for you, but I think you've been handling everything really well, and I think a lot of people are taking a liking to your creation. So, firstly, I guess I'd like to just get into it to ask kind of what was Bionicle like for you growing up? What role did it have for you?
I was
as
basically
a kid
your
growing up?
typical Bionicle kid. I got into Bionicle in the very beginning, 2001. I was 3 years old and I built my first set, my Pohadumada. And from then I was pretty much hooked on Bionicle. I just played with my sets, watched the movies, watched the ads over and over and on the Bionicle website and all of that. Pretty much till Bionicle ended. Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of us, yeah. Was it, so, you don't live in the United States. Would you say, like, being in, like, Europe, was it any different, accessing the newest Bionicle sets, the content,
a lot of the
everything?
books were never translated to German, so I didn't really get into the story too much outside of the movies and some of the comics. I got into them, like, after Bionicle ended. But other than that, we pretty much had the same sets.
For sure.
Some of the story stuff we got here.
That's cool. All right. So, secondly, my big kind of follow-up question here is just, so how did you originally become inspired to make this project? I know it's technically an idea you had back in 2019, right? So I guess where did your first thought you had come from back, almost 2 years ago
It started
now?
even before that. TTV did a project in like 2017 where they were like, how could Bionicle look if it was a system theme? And I participated in that project and built a lot of mocks of like what Bionicle system sets could look like. And that's what kind of got me in that path that later led to this project. And yeah, in the beginning of 2019, like I think in January or February, I was thinking like, hey, the Bionicle 20th anniversary is coming up in like 2 years. And it would be really cool to have something for that anniversary to celebrate it in some way. So I thought, what kind of way could we make something happen for that? And I thought the best way to do that might be Lego ideas. So I built a system set because I thought it would be more realistic to get something system done with Lego currently, and submitted it to ideas in late October. I did a lot of research, like what I wanted to build. I reread all the books because I wanted to find out like what's really important about Bionicle, what's the main part of the story, what kind of lessons does the Bionicle story teach, and I wanted to bring that in one creation to pretty much celebrate 20 years of Bionicle. And that's why I submitted it in October 2019, because that was like exactly the time it would need to be done for this anniversary if it went through Lego Ideas. So that's why it started that long ago.
Yeah, so pretty smart. Yeah, that's pretty smart. Yeah, so you, in hindsight, you were thinking, in the future, how many years? I mean, that's really good. That's good that you you conceived this idea. You really put a lot of pre-existing thought into it, and we're like, what's the time frame it would take for a Lego Ideas project to reach that 20th anniversary, like that threshold, that I guess that mark that a lot of sets usually do on Lego Ideas. That's pretty cool. Was your mind always sort of in this idea for a modular build? Was that, or like that sort of, I guess you could call it modular, but the 3 different like display kind of piece that you've made, was it always kind of like you wanted to make it these small little vignettes, scenes?
I had a couple of different ideas. But very soon I wanted to do something for the story, because I think like the story was for me the big part I wanted to tell, and I think that works pretty well by building scenes. I had a couple of different ideas, like building more scenes or less scenes, and which ones do I want to build, and I experimented around with that a lot. I had like spreadsheets of what scenes I could do and what scales I would do that scene on, but the 3-segment design came for me from the idea that I want to build a model that has like, is very integrated with the idea of the 3 virtues of Bionicle, like Unity, Duty, Destiny. And the initial idea was to build one scene for every of the 3 virtues, and by that tell the story of Bionicle and symbolizing the 3 virtues. And that's why I picked this 3 scene design.
Great, that's super cool actually. So you took the famous 3 virtues, unity, duty, destiny, and you were like, how can I make that represented as well into this set with the 3 scenes? That's actually really interesting. I didn't think about that at first, but that's really cool that you were able to that concept kind of came to fruition that way. It's definitely a good idea to build around. Every Bionicle fan knows about that. So I think that totally worked. And I mean, each scene you chose is definitely representative of pivotal moments, big moments in Bionicle. So yeah, that's awesome. So my next question is basically, I guess this was very recent, this new Bricklink. I get not so much competition, but this project idea phase, this crowdfunding idea phase that came out. How was it when you found, were you surprised when you found out that your idea was chosen to be kind of, I guess, brought back to life in this new way?
Extremely surprised, honestly. I didn't expect at all that mine would be accepted for this, because when they announced that this program might be happening, they said they will select a couple of rejected idea sets, and a couple of my friends were like, hey, do you think you'll be accepted for this? And I was like, no, I don't think mine will be accepted, because I thought okay, it's Bionicle, and Bionicle is while it's Lego intern, it's still an IP property. So I didn't think they'd allow something like that for this program. So I never really expected to be accepted for this, but they did, and I was very happy about that.
From what we know, so kind of where the project is now, you obviously have had to deal with some new limitations. What's it been like as far as kind of working with obviously some of the new guidelines, some of the restraints when it comes to printing pieces? Yeah. Obviously, you can't have any new molds. So it sounds like you've been hard at work, right?
That was pretty much the first thing I did when I heard about that I'd be allowed to join this. Is I pretty much ran to my computer and experimented around, because this program is based on a program they did a couple of years ago called the AFOL Designer Program. And I also entered in that one back then. Everyone could enter, but mine wasn't chosen. But I knew pretty much what the base rules would be for that. And that's why I pretty much right away experimented around, and I had a vague idea what the limitations would be. I think some of them are, because I built this model within the limitations of Ideas. Lego Ideas has other rules. So it's already built within limitations, but now I have some other limitations, and I think for a lot of them I found pretty good workarounds. Most of them, people don't even say something about them, and then I think, okay, if people don't even notice that I had to make some compromises, it's okay. The big ones is probably the Modular figure and the Tahoe figure.
The minifigures, I feel like
those are
the minifigures are that
the big one a lot of people bring up, but because of the limitations, I just can't do it any differently, and I'm just doing the best I can.
Yeah, no, I feel like I watched one of your videos. You were talking about how you were actually surprised about the overwhelming support for the Motoro design, because you were
quite worried about
a little
that.
Worried at first. You're like, it's so different. People want that that minifig headpiece with the Mask of Life, and you can't really implement that with the new one. But I think you did a pretty good job. I mean, also, it depends. There are people that, will obviously be able to buy this set and probably kind of put in their own 3D printing or whatever they can do to kind of add their own flair into it, to get more of that original look and design. But, I mean, from what I've seen, the revisions you made so far aren't too bad. I still think it's a pretty attractive looking set, and definitely would be a great little display piece to have on a desk or up kind of on a shelf, definitely. Yeah, no, it's really great. So, the next kind of big question is, and you obviously know more than everyone, you can't share all the details, but what is kind of the best thing that we can do, fans, other biotubers, Lego YouTubers, what's the best thing we can do to show support and build up anticipation for the
right now,
June 1st?
Just today, the news just broke, I just saw it. My model is now in the test building phase, so it will be tested for stability and all that kind of stuff, and I hope that I can pass that. If it doesn't work, I can do some revisions. And if that step is passed, it goes into the crowdfunding, and that's what I'm trying to make sure right now, that it will go into the crowdfunding. And if I can reach that point, then starting June 1st, everyone who wants the set can just pre-order it. That's the big thing we have to do. So if you know people that would want the set, please share it. If you want one yourself, you can save up. I don't know how much it will be, but yeah, the pre-orders will decide if this will be produced or not.
So basically, like what you're saying is like it's going through the building phase. So somewhere someone is putting this together right now, essentially.
I also put it together. Yeah, I tested with my own bricks some stuff already. I've got it here. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, can we see it? Yeah. Wow, look at that. That's great.
But
oh my god,
they
that's
have to
awesome.
make sure that everything works too. So
that's great.
Yeah,
you should make a little video about
I hope
that.
I can do that.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, maybe I don't know what the rules are. You know, it's like you can't say, "Oh, first in-hand copy of the set that hasn't even been."
It's like it's a prototype. It's definitely not 100% the way it will look once it's done. But I just built it to test if it works, because
that makes sense. I was like, I wonder if he's gone on, found the pieces, kind of tried to test it yourself. Well, that's great. I mean, so it's good to know. It's good to know that wherever the headquarters is, they're doing this. So they're testing the build. You've already tried to build a prototype of it yourself. I mean, that's fascinating to me. I mean, I knew Lego Ideas. I knew that they had these Bricklink things here and there, but I feel like it's been a while since we've seen at least these many entries kind of be brought back, like resuscitated, basically, brought back from the dead, and been allowed to have like this second chance. It's definitely a really cool concept that Lego's doing, no doubt. What basically at the end of the day does Bionicle and the story, the Legend of Bionicle, mean to you?
I love that question, honestly. I love talking about that, because I think for a lot of people, Bionicle is very many different things. A lot of people might just say Bionicle is Lego action figures, but for me personally, it's a lot more than that. I personally, for example, didn't care too much about Hero Factory, because for me it didn't have what Bionicle had, which is for me the story, the world it's set in, the atmosphere, the characters, the mystery. And I think that's what really makes Bionicle for me so different, so cool. Bionicle is pretty much what started storytelling for Lego. That's like my original idea submission was called The Legend of the Bionicle, celebrating 20 years of Lego storytelling. Because like Bionicle started storytelling for Lego. It was their first original story. And I think that's a huge deal. Yeah. They started creating their own worlds, creating their own stories, not just like Star Wars. It's something Lego made up themselves. And I think that's just such an important milestone in Lego's history, and for a whole generation of kids that experience that story. Yeah,
the deep lore and the intense kind of like depth that the story had was kind of unparalleled at the time, and honestly still in some
ways. For example, the Matoro scene I really wanted in there, because it was like so different from anything Lego has done before. Like having a major character death in a Lego theme, that's something quite huge in my opinion. And that's why I wanted to bring something like that into the model to show what Bionicle could do, what new frontiers they explored with Bionicle.
It's definitely represented in this piece that you've made. It's pretty incredible. So yeah, I mean, that's probably pretty good for me. I feel like we've had a lot to talk about here. I'm excited to get this video out there. Again, I guess anything else you want fans and viewers watching to know as we move on to this next
thank you so much especially for all the people who supported this back on Lego Ideas, because I would never have been here in the first place without the 10,000 people who clicked on support back then. And thank you for all the support I've already been getting for the Bricklink program right now. And yeah, I'm just very grateful. I'm really happy about this program. No matter what happens next, it's a really cool experience for me, and it's cool to have another chance to get this model out there. So I just want to say thank you.
looking at the like Lego's 90th anniversary poll and how well Bionicle did, I have no doubt that you'll get the 3,000 buys and even more. I think you said it's caps at 5,000. I wouldn't be surprised if they have to like be careful with how many people buy it, because I think they'd sell plenty of these, honestly. If when you look at the overwhelming amount of support that Bionicle had on the Lego fan vote for the 90th anniversary. So I think as far as I'm concerned, everything looks pretty good.
Yeah,
Sokoda,
let's hope it works out.
Thank you so much for coming on. This has been amazing. If this does well, I'd love to also just have you on BioTalk Live, of course. I think, there's something fun about being able to interact with people in a live setting, and have people write in their own questions. I've tried to cover the board as best as I can, but thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. And good luck with everything. Good luck with all your other endeavors outside of Lego as well. And, let's hope for the best. I think the outlook is good on this project, no doubt. Okay, so thanks everyone for watching again. You can support Sokoda. He has YouTube, he has Twitter, he has his Bricklink project. And again, as he's said and I've said, June 1st is going to be this crowdfunding date after it makes it through the test build. So let's hope for the best. And thanks for watching. We'll see you guys again on BioTalk.